says live on YouTube.
Going live on YouTube. All righty. Okay, ready?
Yep.
All righty. Hey everyone, hello. Good to see you guys on here. Welcome to our season ticket member chat. Usually we do this on Thursdays. Today we're doing it on Friday. Pretty fabulous Friday as we have a new return to play protocol in place. Gina Miller here with FC Dallas Technical Director Andre Zanotta. You guys know how this thing works. It works pretty simple. We just ask you to keep it on mute. If you have a question, please post it down in the chat box down below. This one is special though, gentlemen, because you are going to be featured on YouTube. We're streaming live on YouTube today so that we can share this after the show as well. But Andre, it's so good to see you. I should say that we are both in the office today. We're both socially distancing. You're in your office. I'm in my office. But it's good to see you as you know, the entire organization has taken a bit of a pause. You've probably been busier than ever. Is that fair to say, keeping the players engaged and trying to keep this thing running?
Yeah, so thank you, Gina. Thank you for inviting me to participate here. I'm very happy to share this next minutes with our season ticket holders and all our fans. Yes, the last few weeks have been very busy. Just with this returning to train protocol and now the Orlando tournament and other things that we should announce soon. They're coming up, and I think our fans will be very excited about FC Dallas returning to play and having the team ready for more competition now finally.
So we made the announcement this week, and there were a number of big announcements to share this week. Wednesday, MLS confirmed, probably one of the worst kept secrets in sports, quite frankly, confirmed that the tournament in Orlando would in fact be happening and announced kind of what the tournament was going to look like. Very similar to World Cup with group stages and knockout matches. You have each MLS team playing at least 3 matches with the finalists playing 7 matches in that championship match. There's going to be prize money involved, all sorts of really good stuff there. And then we had the draw yesterday. FC Dallas gets Group B in a group with the Vancouver Whitecaps, San Jose Earthquakes, and, oh yeah, the Seattle Sounders, the defending MLS Cup champs, against whom we played the best playoff match I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, very, like, we were excited to have the draw yesterday, and we knew any group would be tough. All the teams are getting ready, and we know it's what we discuss here with our coaching staff is about a lot about mentality, how our players will be, and we've been working that with them just to be ready. We know we've been so long without playing, and none of the teams will be at their best version at the Orlando tournament. But I think if we're mentally strong and facing such difficult opponents and playing against Seattle again will be great. I think has this special feeling for us. So yeah, I think we're going there to win this tournament. So that's what we want. So we believe we are ready. We have the players, we have the staff, and we have the mental. We're mentally prepared for that.
I love what you said there, because it's not like FC Dallas, and I've spoken to a lot of the guys. I spoke to Paxton about this yesterday. I texted with another player about this yesterday, and I spoke to Lucci about this, Lucci Gonzalez. You know, every single one of you has said the same thing. We're going there to win this thing. And I love that. You know, I mean, I could absolutely see a team saying, you know what, we're just going to get back into rhythm. And let's be clear, all of these matches are going to count towards the 2020 MLS standings. I just love that approach, though. We are going to win. It's not any sort of a warm up, if you will.
Yeah. So as you said, we the first three games of the group stage, they will. We're saying that they count double. So we
Yep.
have the 3 points for the group that in the Orlando tournament, but also the 3 points for the league table. So if we can add 9 more points in the league table, we know how much this will help in the run to playoffs. So we're talking to the players. We'll have another meeting with the players later this afternoon, and we've been preparing them just to, and they're really the effort that they're putting out there in the training field, and with all the adversity and all the things that we have to be very careful about during this moment that we're going through. And but it's great to see what they're doing out there, and we just can't wait to kick off, to start playing. That's what we want.
I think that is the absolute truest thing. You know, I was talking to Lucci yesterday immediately after the draw, and he said your WhatsApp was exploding. There's a player WhatsApp, and the player WhatsApp was exploding with guys just excited to be thinking about playing soccer again, just to have sort of a light at the end of the tunnel as you prepare for something besides individual workouts, small group training, you know, real competition again.
Yeah, so we're next week. This is something I can already share with our fans here, our season ticket holders. We're moving to full team training next week. Finally, something that we were looking forward. We were cleared by the league, and we're following all the protocols for local authorities. We have to submit them our plan to our medical task force. So we were approved by all of them, and now we're going to be tested again. All the players and staff. We have to be tested twice before we go to full team training. So we're hoping that early next week we can start full team training, and then just the players getting ready to travel to Orlando.
You have had the coronavirus test, correct?
Yes, I did.
And we know that it was negative. This isn't, you know, breaking any news here, disclosing any HIPAA laws here. Is it as bad as it looks, Andre?
Not really. It's just a little bit uncomfortable, and
Yeah.
but it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, love to hear that. Okay, you are sitting in your office, and I made you turn around because you were sitting in front of an FC Barcelona Neymar jersey. And
No, that's Arthur.
oh, I'm sorry,
Great
sorry.
Arthur. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, my bad there. Still, I wanted to talk about Neymar though.
Okay.
It's on my brain. Neymar's on my brain. I'm going blind. Your soccer DNA is so vast and so extensive. But you know, Dan Hunt, our team president and owner, loves to talk about this. You negotiated Neymar's transfer, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, walk us through what that was like.
Yeah, and this was the second player that I
Yeah.
was part of the negotiations to transfer to Barcelona. So I have two players going to Barcelona in my transfer record here. But yeah, Neymar was just an amazing player. I arrived in Santos FC. Santos is one of the top academies in Brazil. Just to name two players besides Neymar, they had Pelé when he started with 15 years old in Santos, and Robinho, another player that played for the national team, played for top clubs in Europe. And when I got there in 2012, the Santos had just had a very strong team. Neymar was obviously the star of that team, and 2000 and after 1 year in 2013, there were many clubs interested. The top clubs in the world wanted him, but in the end was a fight between Barcelona and Real Madrid. They were beating, and they had representatives in Santos, in the city of Santos all the time, just speaking to his father and speaking to the club. So it was a very great experience for me. Just I had just a little more than a year in the club, and just being part of such a big transfer, and with and knowing that this and Neymar what he would represent for the country, for one of the top players that we've always had. So he had successful in Barcelona, and then he decided to go to Paris Saint-Germain. So and I'm hoping he can win big things there as well.
There's all sorts of news about him being on the move again shortly. If you read Transfer Market, there's all sorts of scoop about that. How did you get your start? I mean, what was your first professional step into serving as a technical director and negotiating these hundreds of $1 million deals?
Well, I started my career as a sports lawyer. I did law school in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and then I was working in one of the top law firms there and with sports law only, and we would represent many clubs in Brazil and in South America. We also we represented the Brazilian Soccer Association. So I was getting at that moment in 2006, 2007. Clubs were in South America. They were getting more and more organized and getting more. It's not as the level of professionalism at that time wasn't as it is right now. So they would, I would be involved in as the lawyer of the clubs. I was involved in many deals, and I would travel with them to help in the negotiations. Sometimes they wouldn't have someone that would speak English, they would speak another language, so I would help them on that. And I was so fascinated about this side of the sports business and working directly with clubs. I felt that's what I wanted. And at some point I decided I wanted to shift from the legal, just being stuck on the legal side, and also be part on the management side of the clubs. And but knowing that the background in law is so important, helps me so much in my daily tasks here until today. So I decided at that moment, I decided to go to Europe. I studied in the FIFA International Master. It's one of the top masters in business of sports in Europe. So I lived in Europe for 1 year, and after that I started my career in clubs. So I went to Mexico, and then from Mexico I went back to Brazil, and then I started Santos, Sport Recife, Grêmio, and now FC Dallas.
Now FC Dallas. Andres and Justin, we're going to get to your questions in just a second. Please feel free to put some more down there. But I'd like to ask you how that transition to FC Dallas happened, because MLS is so attractive and it's in such a growth stage from my position. How did you find FC Dallas? And because I know the story and I think it's interesting, but I think it's worth sharing as well. How did that happen for you?
Yeah, so when I came back from Mexico, working in Atlanta FC, I started working for clubs that were owned by a company, and the company had an office in Miami, and the guy that was running the office in Miami was Luis Musi, who's now the director of Orlando City. So Luis and he was in charge of the Fort Lauderdale Strikers at that time, and I was responsible for the different clubs that the company owned. They had a club in Brazil, they had a club in Portugal, and this club in Miami. So we got along very well, and we kept in contact. I continued my career in other clubs. He came to FC Dallas. And when the last 2 years that I was working for Grêmio, we were very successful. We won the Copa Libertadores. It's the Champions League of South America in 2017. We played the FIFA Club World Cup against the final. We reached the final. We beat Pachuca in the semifinal, and we played Real Madrid on the final. We lost 1-0. A certain Cristiano Ronaldo scored the goal against us. But it was a fantastic experience. And then in 2018, we also had a very good year there. And Luis approached me. They were saying that FC Dallas was interested in Bressan, the center back, and I was the sporting director of Grêmio at that time. So we negotiated Bressan, and after we finalized the deal, he told me, Andre, I got an offer. I spoke to the owners here of FC Dallas, so I'm going to Orlando City. Can I recommend your name here to Dan and Clark? And I said, yeah. And he knew I wanted to have that experience of working abroad. For me, coming to the U.S., the level of professionalization, and I believe so much in this league, the growth of this league. So for me, would be, I knew for my career would be a big step forward and a great challenge. So, and then I came here. I was interviewed by Dan and Clark in late December 2018, and then and here I am.
I love that story because it's such a testament to one thing I say. It's all about networking and who you know, and you don't get jobs through a blind box ad. Most of the time, it's usually through relationships and networking. Before we get to your questions, I have to share one more element to your story, because this wasn't your first time in North Texas either. I mean, it all is interconnected here.
Yeah,
you knew Dallas Fort Worth. You spent some time here. This is why this thing is so serendipitous, if you will. You were here in high school, Andre.
Yes. So and the greatest, I have a very strong relationship with this state of Texas. I love it. When I was 17, I was part of an exchange program. I applied for an exchange program to study high school in the U.S. And I ended up living with a host family in Trophy Club, about 30 minutes from here. So I studied in Northwest High School in Justin, Texas. I was part of the soccer program there. We had a very good team. We won for the first time a soccer cup for the school. And one of my teammates ended up playing in the Dallas Burn at that time. Philip Sawyer. Yeah. He's one of our youth coaches. Yeah. So and Philip also played for the U21 national team of the U.S. national team. So and then after 21 years, here I am. I'm back. I'm back to that's so close to where I was. So and I still have connections with some people, some friends that study with me at that time. My coach wrote to me the first day that I got here. I got a message from him, the soccer coach that I had in 1997, 1998. So it's great. It's great to be back.
I love that. I absolutely love that story. Yeah, you brought your family back. You brought your kids with you, your beautiful wife. I love this story. Okay, we'll open it up to some questions here. Justin, thank you for your patience, my friend. Go ahead and ask your question to Andre if you like. You got to unmute you there, bud.
Andre, what's the one skill that you would like to see a young player develop to help them become more well-rounded and more complete as a player?
That's a very good question, Justin. Thank you. Thank you for your question. More and more I see, and I think this COVID time, we noticed that, and I discussed this a lot with our first and second team coaching staff, that it's not one single skill but it's I think the mentality of the player. The player, when we all can see and it's the most difficult thing to be precise when you're scouting and we're trying to sign a player. You obviously watch many games, you see how his tactical and technical skills. But the mentality, there's some things that when you watch a game that you can have an idea, but it's more about knowing the people that lived with it, that had shared the locker room with him, or coaches that worked with that player. So I think more and more, and speaking to other sporting directors in different clubs around the world, I see how important to have a player that it's mentally strong. So if you see I've seen in Brazil, you can imagine how many talents I've seen, amazing players that they were just not strong enough here, and they just ended up not going anywhere. And when they were 15, 16, you said, oh my gosh, this guy is going to be the number 10 of Real Madrid, Barcelona, and he ended up playing. He's now playing in fourth division in Brazil, and just because he wasn't mentally prepared to that, or and there's a lot going on when a player is developing, when he's growing, and especially where I come from, the background and the cultural background of those players, where they come from very poor regions, many of them, and sometimes they're not ready to just the amount of money they're starting to get, or the visibility, and so that's why I read recently, and I know Gina likes to ask about books, and I love books related to sports. And I read recently a book about Cristiano Ronaldo, and it's just unbelievable about what this guy. I've seen many more talented players than him, but mentally he's unbeatable. He's and seeing the statements and what coaches from his youth teams and back in Portugal, what they say about him, and it's unbelievable that already when he was 14, 15, 16, he was so focused on what he wanted to become, and that's why he's so huge.
That is so interesting. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Justin. Did you have a follow-up?
No, I was just going to say the mental aspect is as much a skill as the physical part. I mean, you have to know the game to play the game.
Exactly.
And you see this across every single sport. It's a holistic thing, right? It's not just about the physical attributes. We have seen so many talented and physically gifted athletes not do so well in a professional or even collegiate sense. Whereas then you see someone who may not have the physical talent, but because he or she is so mentally strong and focused and willing to do the work and have the unparalleled discipline to play at that elite level. That's why they're so successful. And it's fascinating what you say about Cristiano Ronaldo, Andre, just that mental, because let's be honest, he looks sometimes like he's not as focused as he needs to be. But I think it's so insightful you sharing about his mental acumen there.
Yeah, exactly. So that winner mentality that he has, for me, it's I admire so much.
Yeah.
And there are other players like that. Puyol, a player that played in Barcelona in the past. I love the way that he was on the field with the teammates, with opponents. So the more and more you can find, even though they're not the top, and we're saying guys that played in the top clubs in the world, but even other players that if they're not at the highest skill, the technical skill, but if up here they are, they have this strength, they will succeed. And this is so hard when we scout players and we speak to teammates, we speak to former coaches, current coaches, and we try to get as much as more information about the players when we want to sign them. So we want to make sure we have such a good locker room here, a great environment we have with the players, and we know it's, if you don't bring the right one and to keep that environment safe and with a very good harmony, it's dangerous. I believe the players that we brought for, and I was discussing this with Eric Quill, the second team, that we brought 6-7 players for the second team, and this is not only me. It's not. It's a co-work. It's the coaching staff with our scouts, myself, Marco Ferruzzi. So we all discuss this. We all look and we all gather information to make sure we're trying to minimize our mistakes and make sure when we're bringing a player, we're just making the right choice.
We do have a good group. We do. We're very lucky. We've got a very good group, and it's a testament to how you acquire that talent and how you scout talent and bring those guys in. Okay, Andres, your turn. Please go ahead, unmute yourself.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yep.
Everything. All right. Well, first of all, thank you so much for putting this together and taking the time, Andre. To touch on that about having, kind of a little bit of a different mentality to become a truly great player. There's a book called The Captain Class by Sam Walker. I don't know if either of you guys have read it, but if not, I definitely recommend it. It's called the Captain Class. It's all about sports and different venues. They talk a lot about Barcelona and Puyol being one of those captains. So you may enjoy that one, Andre. My question is,
How do you do? I don't know.
yeah, no, it's a great book.
Thank you.
Hopefully, I keep a list of books that people are recommending. So anyway, I wanted to know, because of your experience working in multiple different venues, coming to Dallas, obviously we have a pretty robust homegrown program here, and I wanted to know which three homegrowns have potentially caught your eye initially during your first couple of months here to a year here, and then if you could, just for fun, and we won't hold you to this, but if you could relate those players to previous maybe Brazilian superstars that you've seen in the past. I always think that Reggie could be like the next Cafu, for example, but probably not. But I would love that. So yeah, I wanted to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, well, just first of all, my pleasure. It's great to, and thank you for your question. Yeah, so one thing that I was asked when I came here, so and from people from different parts of the world, so how's because maybe USA not making the last World Cup and not not many American players playing in different leagues around the world. So, and I was really impressed with the quality of the players we have here. And when I was asked this, I come from the two top academies in Brazil. So we had just Santos and Grêmio. It's Neymar and Ronaldinho. So Ronaldinho was from a Grêmio Academy, and Neymar from Santos Academy. So I'm used to see unbelievable players coming from the youth teams, and coming here was really and watching. I unfortunately I don't have as much time as I would like to watch more or academy teams training, but the times that I went there and looking at the players that we have in the first and second team that comes from our academy, it really impressed me. So I just wanted to say that because I think it's important, even though I come from one of the top countries in terms of developing players. But here in FC Dallas, the quality of the players is just, it's not that we say, hey, it's right here, and no, we're getting closer and closer. So it's tough just to choose three stuff and then to compare. I never thought about that, just comparing with Brazilian players. And Reggie and Cafu, it's a great one. Reggie, from the day I got here and until now, Reggie he developed and he grew so much. He's much more mature. He's already, even though like we forget Reggie's 22, honestly. He just turned 22 yesterday, right?
That's true. We totally forget that he's 22.
Because Reggie, like he's a different maturity for his age. And we have so many young players, and Reggie, he has this leadership in him. He helps the young guys. And when you look at Reggie's 22, I feel Reggie has this type of mentality, and I spoke to I'll share this here, but I spoke to Greg Berhalter after the last January camp, and Reggie won. I don't know if this was public or not, Gina, but Reggie won.
Everything's off the record now, gentlemen. Everything's off the record.
But no, it's fine. Reggie, it's good. Reggie won a prize for the best. He had the best performance in the national team. Greg likes to make some games, just competition among the players, and Reggie won a prize for that. And so I think yes, and Cafu is obviously such a iconic player for us, and he's the captain of the fifth title of Brazil in World Cup. So I think there's a potential, obviously Cafu with the level that he reached, but Reggie, again, he's only 22, and he has a long pathway there. And we when we approach to the transfer window, we get rumors, speculation, and it's good. It's good that the teams in different places are watching him and watching us. So it's always good. To choose another one that I really liked, and I think he has a very, very bright future, it's Thomas Roberts. I like Thomas a lot. I think his style of play and he's the rhythm that he plays. He changed rhythm, and with this, it's so difficult to find one player. Obviously, it's a huge, like but when I watch, that's why I remember. But watching Thomas play, and a guy that did that with absolute perfection, and hopefully Thomas can reach that level. Was it's not Brazilian, but a guy that caused a lot of damage in Brazil as Zidane. So he has this change of speed and just an amazing brain. And I see some things that Thomas has that he can develop to hopefully to reach that level. Although Zidane, for me and my generation, he's for me one of the top players I've ever seen play.
Thank you so much. You probably don't have to do another one. I know Jesse.
Right.
Also, thank you so much. We won't hold you to that. If Roberts doesn't end up being Zidane, it'll be
yeah. So, yeah. There's a long way there. He's only 01. Is 90.
That's right.
He's got the personality for it, in my opinion. Okay, Justin, you got another one here. Go ahead. Almost there.
All right, sorry about my phone's going slow. So, okay, so while we're asking questions that are somewhat dreamy, Andre, what do you see? What do you estimate as a timeline for a United States World Cup win based on what you see in coming through youth academies right now?
Wow, it's
no pressure.
No, I just also to share this, and I'm a big fan of Greg Berhalter. When I was just also, I think it's nice to share this with you all. In 2014, I was introduced to Greg, and Greg, you could see that he has already a vision ahead of many others, and we started. He wanted to have, like he said, Andre, I'm looking for I want to open international partnerships for Columbus Crew. And so he invited me to go to Columbus. I was the sporting director at Santos at that point. So I went to Columbus. I watched him. I spent a week with him there. And then it was in October. And then in November, he went to Santos and spent a week or 10 days with me there. And we have now this friendship. And I really believe he can make a difference, and with the players we have here. So it's not easy. World Cup is such a it's tough tournament. Yesterday I was talking, we were discussing obviously before the draw, but I remember when in 2014 one of the groups, and in 2014 the World Cup was in Brazil. I was working in Santos, and we had in Costa Rica this was training at our facilities. So when we saw the groups, the group that they ended up in, and it was with Italy, England, Uruguay, and Costa Rica. So we were ready. Okay, Costa Rica is going to be out after the group stage. There's like no question about it. We can go back. So we were renting a place to train while they were training at our facility, and then Costa Rica ended up being in the quarterfinals. So I'm just bringing that up because it's the World Cup. Like, you can have South Korea reaching a semifinal in 2002. You can have you had like Cameroon back in 1990. I remember having a great World Cup. So it's such a short competition, and anything can happen. One game, you see. I remember when after France won the World Cup in 1998, they played Senegal in the first game 2002, and they lost their game to Senegal. So I think the U.S. has still some steps until you can consider having it. It's hard to predict like when it's going to happen. I think the quality of the players that I see here and I see throughout the league will definitely make the team stronger. Not for 2022. Hopefully for 2026. 2026, I think it's the World Cup here, and I think the 2022 is such an important World Cup for the US. So you can give experience. This happened. I saw many times in Brazil when you have guys like Kaká, like Ronaldo, that they went to. People don't even remember, but Ronaldo was in the 1994 World Cup. He didn't even touch the ball in that World Cup, but he was crucial in 1998 and 2002. And Kaká was in 1998, and I think he played 3 minutes, but he was crucial then for the other World Cup. So you need to prepare the young ones and have them be around the environment of a World Cup, and this will help them grow and be ready for this competition. So I think 2022 is early, although we have very, very good quality, but I'm hoping for 2026 hosting the World Cup. The US can maybe surprise the world.
It would be. We would love it.
Yeah. Understatement, I think. Absolute understatement. Before we say goodbye, Andre, I have a few more questions for you. Make us all feel bad. Tell us how many languages you speak.
No.
Oh, come on. Don't be humble here.
I speak, Portuguese is my native language. And then after coming to Texas, I learned to say howdy, y'all. So I learned the Texan accent and back in the 90s. And I raised learning Spanish. I studied in a Spanish school in Brazil. So I studied Spanish since I was 5. And then later I decided to study Italian. So I lived in Italy for a few months to study there and to learn the language. And just a little bit of French that I think I can understand, but not very good.
Vous parlez très bien français. Très bien. Your English is better than mine, Andre. Believe me. And then just as we sum it up, as we're massively looking forward to playing competitive games. I think the country is looking forward to seeing competitive sports. We see what the golf tournament is doing over in Fort Worth right now. It's sort of bringing us all together. What's the approach to this season? We don't know what the schedule is going to look like post Orlando. We do realize there will be competitive matches in market later this summer. That's still being finalized. But as we talk about that mental aspect that you and Justin alluded to earlier, what is this going to look like for 2020, and how are the guys really approaching the rest of this season, keeping them mentally engaged and fit and ready for a format we don't really know what is going to be, but we know is going to be something?
Yeah. So I like when speaking to Lucci about that, and I like the way he approaches those things. And Lucci doesn't want to think too much in advance. He wants our focus now is the first game in Orlando, just to be prepared and get ready for there. And one thing we discussed a lot is that's why I say like we're going there to win this tournament. Is when we have this the opportunity to return to play, and everybody is anxious for that. Not only FC Dallas, but we know all the other 25 teams in the MLS. But we know that the team that wins this Orlando Cup, they will have them such a great momentum to continue, and we believe that we would. We're waiting, obviously, more confirmation from the league, but as you said, we believe after the Orlando tournament, the league will resume. We don't know yet how it's gonna be, how many games we will play, but we want to go there and be successful in this tournament, because I'm sure this will bring our players, and I'm sorry if I'm being repeating this all the time, but mentally, if we're gonna be, if we're ready to play Orlando and we are successful there, and we will I'm sure we'll have even greater things to come when the league resumes. So and the winner of 2020, whatever we can, if the winner of the MLS Cup in 2020, it's going to be remembered forever. So all the challenges that we had to go through, and the team that can be come together and face those challenges will succeed.
Someone's going to win it. Why not FC Dallas? That's my approach. I love it. Andre, I love talking with you. We never get to do it enough. Whenever I stop by your office, true story, guys, his office is always kind of cracked just a little bit because he's always working. And I'll tap on the door. Hi, Andre. I try to stop and talk, but he's always very busy. He has no time for my nonsense, but you're always very gracious about it. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us for our season ticket member chat. We usually do these on Thursdays, moved it to Friday, fabulous Friday this week. I look forward to seeing how the guys and their availability plays out during the Orlando tournament. We'll definitely look to keep these going, though, through the remainder of the season. But thank you again so much for checking in with us every single week. I know the players absolutely have loved seeing you and being with you. Thank you, Justin. I mean, as much as we've enjoyed seeing you, the players have, it has just warmed their hearts and it's made their day. And I speak from authority because their feedback has been wonderful. So thank you guys for joining us. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, wear your masks, wash your hands. We look forward to seeing you, most importantly, in person very soon.
Thank you very much, you guys. Thank you for being here, and just hopefully we can be together some other time soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.